and welcome to my YouTube channel, the place where we talk about this world in a spiritual manner and about the insights that I get from Source on how we can expand into our highest potential. My name is Maier, and my purpose in this beautiful world is expanding consciousness. So the topic of today's video is conflicts. So first of all, what are conflicts? I want you to imagine that everything that feels bad inside of you, everything that someone else tells you and it triggers a reaction from you, like you feel this fire coming inside of you, you know that there is a conflict. That's how you spot a conflict inside you. And also when someone triggers you by saying something, for example, usually it's not even about what that person says, but it's about something deeper. There is a root of a conflict inside of you, and that trigger came to you as a blessing in disguise, so you can go deep down into yourself and find that conflict. Let's imagine conflicts like plants that develop roots inside your body. And depending on for how long this conflict was inside your body, the roots of this bad plant are deeper and deeper and stronger and more powerful. Now, because this plant developed roots in a long period of time in us, these roots are strong, they're long, they're deep, and because of this, we can't even see that we have a conflict, and instead we identify ourselves with a conflict and we get to say, this is who I am, accept it or leave it. I'm a jealous person, you can take me like this or not. So jealousy is a conflict, of course, but because the roots of this conflict are so deep within our body, we don't even realize we have this conflict, we are not this conflict. So now, how do we take the roots out? The simple way to say it is by bringing light to this conflict. By bringing the conflict into the light, now there is a chance for you to not react from that conflict anymore because you are aware of it. So how do we find what conflicts we have and how do we heal them? Well, the first thing I want to say is don't search for conflicts, let the conflicts find you. And we go back to triggers. When someone comes and tells you something and it triggers a reaction from you. And well, what happens here is a conflict came to you because it wants you to find it. Trigger is just a sign of conflict. So let's take an example and work on it. Let's say someone came to you and told you you're not good enough to do this job, and it triggered a reaction from you. We don't know the conflict yet, but we know this triggered us, so there's something there. The next step, take a piece of paper and start journaling. Journaling is the best way possible to find the conflict because you just let everything come out of you, whatever you feel, how you feel like expressing, maybe using curse words, it's okay, it's your own journal, and you're allowed to write whatever you feel like it needs to come out. And by doing this, you will actually go closer and closer to finding your conflict. So, for example, how you would start this is someone told me I'm not good enough to do this job, and it triggered the reaction in me. I wanted to hit them. I felt the need to defend myself. Why do I feel the need to defend myself here? Do I feel somewhere inside of me that I'm actually not good enough? Where does this come from? Did someone in my childhood told me I'm not good enough? And you go one step closer and closer to finding your truth. You will see that it's like intuitive. You're going to write everything in an intuitive way, and you will go and find the true root of your conflict. So I really recommend journaling and see what comes up. You will be surprised. You'll just feel like your body will have chills when you'll reach that point because you'll just know it. Now, how we heal these conflicts is by being aware of them. Now, because we started journaling and we brought this conflict to light, bringing it to light does wonders. From now on, when someone else will come and try to trigger us, we can go to the awareness state instead of reacting to what that person told us. We go to the awareness state like, look, my conflict starts burning inside of me. But instead of reacting from it, I'm aware of it, I'm going to calm myself down, and I'm not going to react anymore. And healing comes in step, like next time someone comes and tells you the same thing, you will feel like reacting, but you're more aware of it. The third time someone comes and tells you the same thing, You'll feel like less reactive because now you can go to the awareness state more easily. So it's this process of becoming more and more aware in a faster and faster time. And suddenly at one point you'll just realize, oh, I don't have that conflict anymore. I don't feel triggered anymore. Someone might come again and tell you you're not good enough for this job, but it won't affect you anymore. You know you're good enough and you don't need the approval of others. And that's when you know you healed from it. So healing a conflict, it's a process, and the process is being held by the awareness you have on it and not reacting. Now let's talk about how does it feel to take the root of a conflict outside your body. When you connected yourself so much with something that you don't even realize that you have something bad in you, whenever you take the root out, this might come with a feeling of emptiness, numbness. Something was taken out from me because we identified with it so much that now when it's taken away from us, we feel like we lose our identity. So a lot of times we might feel numb. Like after a crying session. Crying is actually not a bad thing. We connect it with feeling sad and we think that crying is a sad thing, but actually crying is the releasing and also a helper in the healing of a conflict. So, for example, after a crying session, you feel numb, you feel empty inside yourself. This means the root of the conflict was taken out of your body, or at least a part of the root, because some of the conflicts inside of us are so strong and deeply rooted that it takes time to take the entire root out, and we just take one piece by one piece by one piece until everything comes out and we are completely healed. So whenever you feel numb or empty inside of you, I know it feels bad, you're still in the healing process, but I want you to go back to the awareness state that even though I feel this emptiness inside me, this is actually a good thing because I took the root of that conflict out. And now what we want to do is focus on that empty space inside of us and fill it with love and fill it with trust. We want to take conflicts out. We want to fill these empty spaces because when we fill them back in with love and trust, what actually happens is we fill our body with much more of the energy of our true being, of our higher self that is connected with the divine. We bring ourselves from the source, the true nature of us in the body. So fill that empty space with love and trust and know you're on the right path. So the insight I want you to remember from this is when you take the roots of your conflict out and you feel empty inside, fill that space with love and trust. The second and my last insight of today is when your ground is shaky, connect to Mother Earth's ground. So let's go back to the conflict. So whenever we take our own roots out from an old soil, an expired soil that it's not helping us grow anymore, for example, an old relationship, an old job that you feel like it's draining your energy, and we take our roots out of that and we want to expand and place our roots into a new ground, a new earth that it's more nurturing with better energies that help us grow. Between these two, there is a place of transition here. And what you want to do here in order for you to have the support needed is to connect with Mother Earth's ground. Why I say that? Because whenever we take our roots out, we are a bit shaky. Like we don't want to believe that bad thing about us anymore. We want to believe we are good enough. We are worthy. I can do this job. But in order for us to deeply root our roots into the new soil, that like the abundant soil, there is a process. We need time to truly connect with that information and believe it in our true core and nature. So until we go truly into that new nature and good belief about ourselves, we need support. If the pressure becomes too high, we might have an instinct to go back to the old place because it's more safer. We know it's not as good and it actually drains us, but because it feels more safer, we tend to want to go back. And we don't want to do this because we want to evolve further and grow into our highest nature. So here comes the Mother Earth and we need to connect to it. Because the insight is whenever our ground is shaky, connect to Mother Earth's ground so you get the support needed in order for you to actually continue with your growth and go to your next step. So this was the topic of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope at least one of the things I said resonated with you, and at least one of the insights you're gonna take further with you. If this happened, don't forget to give a like, share, subscribe, and a comment. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I will come back to you with another comment with a response, or I will take the questions and answer them in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, kisses, bye.